Hello everyone, this is Alberto. I'm the CEO of Didit, and today I'm going to explain you how the Didit identity verification platform works. So whenever we designed this platform, we always wanted to be easy, very easy to integrate, very open and very transparent about pricing everything, very flexible so you can configure your own workflows, and especially very affordable as well. So I'm proud to say that we have the most easy, open, flexible and affordable identity verification platform in the world. So here is the business console, so you can do pretty much everything from here regarding Didit. So at the top right you have the organizations. You can create new organizations. Normally you're going to have one organization and one application. So organization can have multiple applications, but normally it's going to be one. But in case you want to create a new one, for instance, for a new company or whatever, you can create a new one. So here you have the balance as well. The balance is your total balance of your account, and we are very proud to say that we have an amazing pricing model in Didit. So apart from being the most affordable identity verification company, what we do is have a very special pricing. So as you may know, normally the companies, they charge like 1 year in advance. This is a bundle pricing like 100,000 ID verification, 50,000 liveness and so on. But we don't like that. Honestly, what we do is transparency. We like that our incentives are aligned with the customer incentives. So what we do is a consumption-based pricing model. So in this case, you have a balance in your account. You're going to top up the balance. So whenever you create an account, we give you $10 free balance, but you can go and top up the balance. The more credits you buy, the more free credits you have, or more discount you have. Okay, so the more you buy, the more discount, the better. You can also auto recharge in case you want, for instance, whenever there is you go below the threshold and you recharge this amount. Okay. So how does it work? You have a balance in your account, then every time you use some user finish a verification, then the price of this verification, the workflow, then it's going to be subtracted from the balance. So if you have $10 of balance and you have a specific verification workflow which costs 50 cents, then after the verification is finished, then you're going to have $9.50 USD of balance. So it's very easy. We only charge you whenever a verification is finished. Pretty important points as well. The credits do not expire differently from other competitors. So you can buy credits and you can use them in a long period of time. Everything, the pricing, everything is very transparent, the discounts, everything. So we are proud to say that we have probably the best pricing model out there. So check it out. So having said that, what we have as well at the console, we have your own application here, which you can edit, and you can edit as well your organization, as I told you. You have as well on the top left, you have the documentation. So you can go to technical documentation, send it to your developer for integration. Here you will find most of the technical information regarding the features that we have and so on. For instance, let's go there one moment. So here you're going to see all the features that we have. So the face match, face search, everything, more information regarding everything, which documents do we support, how is the data model that we answer through API, and you can access it directly, everything, all the information that was tracked. So everything is here regarding every feature that we have. So check it out. Okay, we have a change log as well as updates that we do every month, and we put it out. And also you have the APIs that we have. Okay, we're gonna go later and talk more about that. But you have the technical documentation here, and also very importantly, we have at the bottom right, we have the WhatsApp button. Okay, so we try to be very efficient, very fast whenever we answer our customers. So if you have any doubt about the platform, you have any doubt about the integration process, any bug, any future recommendation, anything, we recommend to go directly through the WhatsApp. So we have a direct conversation, and always it's going to be 7 days a week, someone from our team answering your messages. So it's our preferred way of communication. So if you can do it through that, it's perfect for us. So what do we have as well here? We have the settings. Okay, so this is the settings for your organization. You can set up the two-factor authentication here. You can invite other team members, for instance, your developers or your compliance officer. You can invite anything here, anyone. So you have different roles, the owner and the reader, and then you can invite to specific applications. Then you're going to see the usage. So all the usage that you had on your applications directly. with the pricing, and then you're going to have the billing. Here you're going to be able to download the invoices related to the top-ups that you have done to your account. So pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So the verification tab is the most important tab in the console. So here you can manage all your verification, you can delete verification, you can export data as well, you can search for specific verifications as well, you can filter directly by workflow, by country, you can do a lot of things here, and you have all the verification session that your application has done. So the verification session we're going to explain later. Normally is a workflow, and the workflow has different features that we call, the features that we showed before. So in order to see all the features related to verification session and all the data, you just have to click it. So in this case, you can see the video of the process, all the data extracted from the process, and on the bottom left, you're going to see all the warning, for instance, duplicated face that we detected, or MRC is not valid. So all the warnings that we detect, you can see them here. You can see also all the logs related to the approval or decline of this specific session. You can even change the status if you want of the verification session, and you can see all the data. For instance, the liveness video regarding the verification session with the estimated age, the face matching score, the AML hit list, even the IP location. You can see directly. So depending on the features that you have enabled, so in this case, each workflow has 5 features, you can see all that information here. And obviously, you can retrieve that information through API, and you're going to receive that information through webhooks on real time. Also, you can download the PDF. Some cool things you can do is also add to the block list. So you can add to the block list directly a specific face or document. So whenever this person tries to verify again into your application, he's going to be declined automatically. So it's a pretty good feature, specifically for fintech applications. And here you have all the information. So very important thing is the status. So every verification session has a status, which you can check it out here, all the status that we have. So in this case, we have not started. In this case is whenever you have created a verification but the user has not started. In progress is that the user is in progress. Approve, decline, the KYC expired because the document has expired. In review, we're going to review it later, but in review is a status whenever, depending on your configuration of the workflow, if the verification has entered certain warning that your configuration has it like to enter in review status, then the verification is going to be in review. And very importantly, whenever a verification is in review, you or someone from your team has to review it manually. So it has to go over all the information like I did before, and then approve or decline. So here normally, whenever in review, you're going to see here, you have one in review. You're going to click it, and then here you're going to be able to approve or decline the session. You're going to go through all the information, check the warning, check everything, and then do whatever you think is correct, or approve or decline for that specific user. So we have different statuses, very important, the status field, and then also very important, we're going to go deeper now onto the workflows. So everything is around workflows in Didit identity verification. We have other ways of using Didit, which are standalone APIs, and you can access directly the future functionality through request response, but we're going to explain later. So importantly is the workflow, which is the easiest way to integrate Didit, and the way Didit manages all the application, and you can configure it very easily. So in this case, you're going to have, for instance, a custom KYC workflow. In this case, it's a workflow composed by different features that your user is going to go through. So in this case, ID verification, liveness, face matching, and so on. So you can, for instance, remove that. You can remove AML if you want, and then in this case, for instance, it's going to be free. If you do that. So we are the only company in the world that has a free KYC plan, so you can do a KYC of your user, for instance, for free. If you select the passive liveness and the face matching, you can save it and you can do free unlimited verification forever, which is pretty good. But you can configure specifically the workflow as you want. So in this case, you can configure the workflow to accept different kind of countries and documents. So in this case, if I want just to accept the passport from Anguilla, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to save it. Then you can configure, for instance, different parameters. Didit is very flexible, so you can configure specifically the warnings and all the workflows for your specific use case. So I recommend to go through all over the customization here on the workflows, and go over to check if your use case matches with that. So you can exclude by age. You can allow, for instance, to blood functionality only camera scan. For instance, in this case, if you do that, the user cannot upload their documents. He's only going to be able to do it on real time. And if you do the upload, then he's going to be able to upload. He has a photo on the camera roll and so on. So depending on your application, you can enable that or not. What you want to do with duplicated users, for instance, you want to put it on review, you want to approve directly, so that you can play around with that. And then what you want to do with a lot of different parameters. Okay, you can do the same as with liveness. So as I explained before, we have two types of liveness: passive liveness and active liveness. The passive liveness is free, and the active liveness has a 15 cents credit cost. So that depends on your application use case. For instance, whenever there is a fintech application or your application manages money, normally because of regulation you will need an active liveness. So we recommend a 3D action or flashing in this case, and then you can configure, or you can use passive as well. So you can play around with the percents. For instance, on the liveness score is a score between 0 and 100. So it is, if it is more than 70%, in this case, it's going to be approved. Between 30 and 70%, then it's going to be on in review status of verification, and someone from your team will need to verify it. And less than 30% is going to be declined automatically. So what I want you to understand with that is that you can play around the workflows configuration here, and depending the configuration and the verification session of the user, either it's going to be approved in review or decline automatically. So I recommend to go through all over the configuration here and check it out. For instance, the AML, you can configure the AML hits with which check PEP, adverse media, a warning list, sanction list, and so on. And then we do ongoing monitoring. So we check daily, if you want, the databases. So if post onboarding the user has entered a list with your configuration parameters, then you're going to receive a webhook directly that the user is on review or decline, depending on your configuration. This has a cost of 7 cents a year, and we check daily. So pretty good pricing and very recommended. So this is regarding the workflow. We have different workflows. We have age estimation workflow as well, which you can also directly estimate the age of the user with a liveness. You can do optionally ID verification fallback, so you can play around that. Then we have biometric authentication. So in case you want to do a biometric authentication, for instance, you have a fintech application, and for large transfers, you want the user to authenticate and everything to be locked. So you can do that and create a specific verification session with the biometric authentication workflow, and then you can request the user to do it. Here you can also do only liveness. So in case you have this, you can just create a workflow to detect if the user is real and is on real time. So pretty useful as well for dating apps or any kind of application that you don't want to ask the ID verification. You just want to know that he's a human and he's on real time there. And also you have a address verification workflow, which you can do the proof of address, phone verification, and so on. So you can play around, okay, with all the configuration. You also have the white label functionality, which you can enable, and you can add your own brand and everything. I'm going to explain it later, okay? But you have a lot of flexibility on the way you configure the workflow. The good thing about the workflow as well is that whenever you have integrated the workflows, then you can go and change the configuration here, and you don't need to change anything on the integration side. So the integration normally takes a couple hours until 1 day. Very easy integration, just one API and webhooks. And then once you have that, you can play around that, the configuration, but you don't need to modify nothing about the integration. So it's pretty good as well, to do not disturb the developers whenever you need to make some changes. So in this case, we have the workflows. What do we have here as well? So the integration process, you can integrate in through ways. You can create, this is the no integration, so you can just select the workflow you just created and configured, then create a link directly and send that URL to the user directly. So whenever the user receives that, he's going to start the process and he's going to do the verification, and you're going to see on real time all the information here, okay, about the user. So you can do that, and then you can also, what you can do as well. So here you can see all the blocklisted users that we have. For instance, I have this phase and this document. So whenever in this case, this person is going to try to verify again, he's going to be declined for my application in the verification session. And you have as well the customize. So this is related to the workflow. To the white label that we shown before. So you can do, for instance, remove the login screen, so the reusable KYC. Then you can play around the colors. You can play around as well with the typos, the logos as well, favicons, and everything. And you can even host it on your own domain through DNS redirection. So in our mind, okay, it was you as a customer should be able to have your own verification flow with your own branding, your own domain, everything. So it looks like it's your own development. So we have a lot of customers that use that specific feature, and it was pretty well. And we have customers that they just want to increase the onboarding rate. That's why they are using that feature. And we have other customers that the only thing they want is to resell it, and they want their own brand and so on. So depends on your use case, but normally the white label is an amazing feature. And also what we have here, we have the settings, okay? So in the settings, what you can find is the API key. This is related to the API integration. So before I explain, there is 3 ways of integrating Didit. So there is the first way, no integration. Directly you create the session key and you see the results. Then you have the workflow API integration, which I'm going to show now. And then you have the standalone APIs. So for the workflow and the standalone APIs integration, you will need an API key to authenticate with the API. And then for the workflow integration, you're going to receive webhooks on real time as well for every change of a status of the verification. So in this case, remember that I show you all the different verification status available for every verification session. So in this case, whenever you create a new session and the status change, for instance, from not started to in progress, or in progress to approve or decline, you're going to receive a webhook, okay, which I'm going to show you later more. But here you can set up the webhook URL for receiving that webhook, and here you have the secret key for verifying the signature of the webhooks. Also as well, remember that I told you that whenever there is a verification which is in review status, there is you or someone from your team that needs to verify it, to either approve it or decline it. So to facilitate all this process, you can receive alerts whenever you have a verification that just enters the in review status. So you can add your email address and you're going to receive it directly. So what we're going to show now is the technical documentation regarding the integration. So here, as I explained before, you have all the features that we have. So all the information, you have all the information regarding every specific features that we have. For instance, which type of liveness, what is the difference of the liveness that we have, which is the data of the liveness, everything regarding proof of address, what we look. So anything that you need to check technically, we recommend to go to the technical documentation, because you're going to have everything here. Okay, you have more information about the workflows, about the white label, have more information about Blacklisting, everything is here. So very easy to, as I explained you, we are very proud to say that we are the easiest way to integrate an identity verification solution. So in this case, you only need to use one API to use the workflows. In this case, it's a create session, verification session. So you're going to add your API key here. So the API key, remember, you're gonna take it here. So in this case, you just check the API key, and then you're going to add the workflow ID. So you created a workflow directly. In this case, you have different ones. So let's say the custom KYC one, you copy the workflow ID and you just create it. And here you can add more data, for instance, the email address or any identifier about the user. And you have more data you can add here, like metadata, expected contact details, and so on. So you can play around with all the information. So in this case, I created a verification session, as you see, okay? So I can send that to the user, I can render that verification session directly into my application as a web view, as an iframe, and then the user is going to perform the verification session. So as you see as well, here, I just created a verification session through the API, okay? And then here we have it, okay? Here you have it with the vendor data, which is alberto.gmail, and whenever the user is going to start the process and so on, you're gonna see the status change, also all the information being uploaded here on your portal. So you have also other APIs that you can use. For instance, check the status of a verification session, in this case not started, the features, and everything related to that verification session. So very easy to integrate, it's just one API to integrate. And in this case, also the webhooks, if you want, or you can retrieve the verification session through the retrieve session API. You can list all the session, you can delete session through API, generate PDF, update the status. So you can play around with the APIs, but in general, it's very easy. Just creating the session and retrieving the results. And the results you can retrieve it either through API or the recommended method is through webhook. So every change of a status of the verification, you're going to receive all the webhook with the information, okay? And then what you're going to receive whenever the verification is finished is the body as well, with all the information here, okay? So here you can see as well some example of all the information that you can retrieve through API regarding the ID verification, all the features that we have, okay? You can go directly through the feature and go to the report, and then you can see all the information that you receive through API or through the webhooks as well. So very important, this is the workflow integration. Create a session directly through API, then you're gonna check the status either through webhook and retrieve the old information, or with a retrieve session API, and you have other APIs that you can play around. Then there is the third method of integration. Okay, if you want more flexibility, or you want server-to-server communication, let's say, for instance, you have already a database of IDs about your users, and you just want to check the validity of these IDs. So you can, for instance, just call the ID verification with the front image and the back image, in this case, about the user and all that information, and you're going to receive a status of if the ID is valid and all the information extracted from the ID. Same, for instance, for AML screening, age estimation, or any standalone API that we have. You can, for instance, go here, also add the API key as before, just add the name, in this case, Alberto Rosas, and then you can also add more information about the AML, and you're going to see all the total hits, the scores, and so on. So very simple. Normally you will go through the workflow configuration because everything is very easy. We manage all the user experience, which is already optimized for the best conversion rate and security. And you can also use the white label functionality to customize it by your own branding using the workflow. But if you need more flexibility, or you need server-to-server communication specifically for certain things, you can directly integrate the standalone APIs as well. So pretty easy. We have also some demos on how to integrate, so you can go directly through the web app here, for instance, and there is two types of web app integration. Either you redirect the user to the verification URL whenever you created the verification session, which is a verification URL is returned, and you can send the user here, and the user is going to come back through the callback, or you can render directly as an iframe. So very flexible. You can integrate it easily on any kind of the device, very easily, with just 3 lines of code. So it's probably the easiest integration out there, and you can integrate in less than 1-2 hours. So here you have an example as well of integration on the web app, so you can just play around, download the GitHub repo, just check it out, all the instruction here. Typical implementation with the data model that we use normally with the user. Every user has different verification sessions, and every verification session has a status, and everything. So you can play around with this demo as well, in case you want to integrate, for instance, on Next.js, React, or whatever, or you just want to play around to check a real implementation. And also you can check it out here, the iOS and Android integration. So we have, as you see here, we have different languages, so you can play around, but it's pretty easy. Normally it's through a web view. Everything is here. We have repos for React Native and Flutter here, so you can check it out and directly start from here, and all the information is here. So everything is here. Just check the technical documentation in case you have any doubt about how the platform works, the integration, whatever. Just go here through WhatsApp and let us know, okay? And we will answer as soon as possible. So thank you so much for being here, and just I hope Didit is a good fit for your company.